Alright, hey everyone, so this video is going to be the difference of cubes, and so this is number 3 on your worksheet. So the equation for difference of cubes is going to be a cubed minus b cubed is a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. And so we need to identify, well, what is a and what is b? In this case, right, a cubed, so a comes from this 125. And so a is going to be whatever I multiplied by itself 3 times to get 125. If you have your graphing calculator, you can always go into math and use that cube root button, which looks like this. You cannot do that on the Desmos calculator. So the cubed root of 125 is 5. And it looks a little tricky sometimes when we're looking at a cube of a variable. And so because this is a negative, whatever b is going to be, it's going to be a negative, right? And so x times x times x is what gives us x cubed. So b has to be a negative x. So why does it have to be negative? Well, if we look, I'm just going to do it on the side, right? If I multiply something, a positive by itself, let's say positive 2. 2 times 2 times 2. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, and 4 times 2 is 8, and it's positive. But if my 2 is negative, right? Negative 2 times negative 2 gives me a positive 4, but then when I multiply that by a negative 2, it gives me a negative 8. And so the only way that you can get a negative when you're cubing something is literally by that number has to be a negative. And so that's why this x is negative. So I'm going to use this formula, which once again is not given to you, you need to memorize it, to determine what my factored form will look like. So I have 125 minus x to the third is really going to equal, well, we know a is 5, so I have 5 minus, well, b is negative x, so I use the parentheses because of the double negative. And then I have, well, a squared, so that's 5 squared, plus a, which is 5, times b, which is negative x, plus b squared, which is negative x. Okay, a little close, so we can kind of get rid of this piece over here. And so if I simplify that, well, this is 5 plus x. That double negative makes a positive. 5 squared is 25. This gives me negative 5x, and negative x times negative x is a positive x squared. And so you want to make sure that you always, when you're writing any polynomial, the variable goes first. Remember, your constant goes at the end, and you want to put this in standard form, so the highest exponent to the lowest. So it should be written as x squared minus 5x plus 25. And you want to see, well, can I factor this portion in the parentheses anymore? Well, 25, the factors of 25 are 25 and 1 and 5 and 5, and neither of those pairs can combine to give me a negative 5. So I cannot factor it anymore. All right. Now let's look at another question from your worksheet. We'll look at number 6. And so number 6 says u cubed minus 27. So once again, it's the difference of the cubes. And so you're going to use that a cubed minus b cubed equals a minus b, a squared plus ab plus b squared. And I always write it first just because with all the variables it can be a little confusing, so you want to make sure before you start substituting you just have something close to reference. And so in this case, well, a comes from the u cubed, so a is going to be u, and b is going to be, well, we know it's going to be negative because this 27 is negative, and what times itself 3 times gives you that 27, and again it is 3. So I'm just going to substitute on in a minus b, so u minus negative 3. And then I have a squared, which is u, so u squared, a times b plus b squared. All right, so this is really going to be u, well, negative and a negative make a positive 3. And then I have u squared minus 3u plus 9. And once again, this can't be factored anymore because the factors of 9 are 1 and 9 and 3 and 3, and neither of those pairs can combine to give you a positive 3.